Hi, everybody. This is GM John Fedorowicz. Welcome to ICC's SimulMaster June Simul, June 24th, 2017. We'll get started shortly. Summer is it's a hot one here in New York, and I don't know, the air conditioning in this apartment's getting a little weird, so I'm going to keep it off for a bit. If I walk away from the board, that means I've finally had it and I've gone to turn it on, but it's not a long walk, so I'll be right back. Um, so, as I was saying, the summer is a great time for chess, and that Paris leg of the World Chess Tour is has been a lot of fun with all the different speeds and everything. So I've been keeping my eye on that situation. The usual guys are doing pretty well. Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen are really good at the fast chess. Oh, and I played an interesting event actually yesterday. I played in a grandmaster and an athlete were teamed up, and at Derek Jeter's office. It was a pretty interesting event. All right, we'll talk more later about other stuff. Let's get the game started. Trivial Pursuit is first up. RNAV 311 00004. First time for him, I think. So welcome to the Simul Shaman X. Ears, hey Ears, how you doing? Let's see if Ears played really solidly the last time. Electron DX, Juani X Juani 28. Sorry if I pronounce your names wrong. I always do my best. Electron Eternal Warrior, Indiana Fats, J Russell 2. A lot of people I've played before. Kanishka. McQueen 95, Nejmadinov, Nibaka, and Pasqualino, and Pearl Hacker, who we've played before. And Spin Doc says, thanks for playing. Have my beer ready, and it's been a while since we played. Yeah, well, the weather in New York, Spin Doc, we got to be a little careful about the beer. We don't want to get dehydrated during the simul. So 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Maybe I'll wait till tonight, and who knows? Maybe it'll cool off a little bit. So I mixed E4 and D4 up today. I don't know. I can never decide what to do in these simuls. Spin Doc E4 D6 D4. J Russell D4 Knight F6. Electronics, I've gone D4 and he's played E6. That gives me a chance to maybe play a French if I want, but I think I'll stick with a queen pawn opening. Arnav and back to Ears. Let's see if Ears can play solidly again. Indiana Fats, we're going to get some kind of Sicilian defense. McQueen, I'm going to play a Tarish against the French. Pasqualino, looks like we're getting into a Petrov. Petrov's is a good opening, always a solid choice. J. Russell, a Queen's Indian. Ears, another Queen's Indian, maybe a Queen's Gambit. Juan Lee, Xuanli, and Nejmadinov, a double E pawn, probably a Latvian defense. We'll see. Spin Doc's gone from the Perk into a Philidor. And Indiana Fats, we're going to get a Sicilian. Electronics X, some sort of Queen's Gambit. And Nibaka, we're going to get into an advanced Caro-Kann. McQueen has played the Guimard variation, which is E4, E6, D4, D5, Knight D2, Knight C6. I go Knight F3, protect my pawn. Shamax, maybe a King's Indian or a Grunfeld, Attorney Warrior, another Queen's Indian. Trivial Pursuit, another King's Indian possibly. J. Russell has gone for a Bogo Indian. Same with Arnov, another possible King's Indian. McQueen, that's back to the Guimard variation. And Wani Lee 28, and the board switched to Shamanax, where I just played Knight C3, and he's thinking. So hopefully I'll get back to that game. So we're rolling towards the openings. Shamax looks going to be a King's Indian. Juan Lee looks like another possibility for a Queen's Indian, and Indiana Fats were in the Sicilian. Against Ears, I think I'm going to try a, let's see, what did we do last month? I'm going to try knight c3. I think I'm going to go for g3 and test him on a Catalan, one of the most annoying openings to have to face all the time with the Catalan. Just a really annoying opening. I never really found anything good against it. And I've had conversation with strong players. When Michael Adams visited New York a few years ago, I asked him, and he said it just makes people groan when they have to face the Catalan. So if you can't beat him, join him, right? All right, let me try something against Trivial Pursuit. Same with Arnov. Looks like I got a few Catalans going. Spin dock, bishop to g7, fianchetto in the Philidor. J. Russell d5. He's in a Bogo Indian. I'm playing an advance Caro-Kann against Niebacher. Electronics. I did a Catalan, and he played b6. So I'm gonna just go bishop to e2. Sorry. Arnov. I'm gonna try a same-ish against him. Eternal War, where you have the Petrosian variation of the Queen's Indian. That's with a3. And Indiana France, we're going to get into a Maroczy bind of the Accelerated Dragon. Okay, Shamax, we get into, all right, so we're rolling through the openings here nicely. Going to try not to get into time pressure today. In real life, I'm not really a time pressure person, and as time will sometimes you get caught talking too much. And I'm going to try to avoid the time pressure today. So spin knock, Eternal Warrior, my pet line, bishop g5, which really is not a very impressive line in the Petrosian variation. Electron DX has gone bishop to b7. So what we're getting into here is c6 castles, bishop b7, is we're going to get into a closed Catalan. f6 from the queen. Bishop g2, ears is captured on c4. Bishop d3 against Chaminax, and castles against J. Russell, all in the Catalan types of positions. Okay, Pasqualino's gone knight e4, and I go queen takes d4. Petrov's, like I said, always a tough opening to play against. Very, very tough opening. Bishop takes f6 against Eternal Warrior, and knight b d7 for Electron X. And then I'll play queen c2. You got to be careful with these closed Catalans. Sometimes it turns into a pawn sack. Interesting. I think I'm going to try to go e4 and against Electron X and open it up right away. Okay, Chaminax has gone for e5. Indiana France, that's the Maroczy bind. Knight e4 from J. Russell. I'll just move my queen to c2. d5 for Pasqualino, en passant. Castles from Spindock, that's in the Philidor Fianchetto. Queen takes d2 against Huan Li, and knight e2 versus Chaminax. So the openings look fairly normal here today. Nothing that's messing me up badly yet. Usually there's one where something bad goes wrong. Let's see if we can keep things under control here today. Let's see. Wan Li, 28, has gone c5. And let's see. I'm going to take on d5 there, see if I can maybe get to some isolated pawn position. Chaminax, knight f8. Knight f8. Let's see what this is about. Usually in these locked positions, Black wants to go for f5 or something. I'm wondering here if I could just go g4 and take the space. Pearl Hacker, another Caro-Kann. Trivial Pursuit, queen c2 is a reply. I've played against his knight bd7, King's Indian for a long time. Indiana France, I show castle. Spindock has gone bishop to d7, and I will castle. And Electron X has gone, I just played e4 and he played h6, which seems to allow me the extremely annoying looking move e5. So let's see how that one goes. I got a couple advanced Caro-Kanns going. J. Russell has gone c6, and I'm just going to go rook AD1 and see what happens. C3 from Nibaka in this advanced Caro-Kann is an odd move because it gives me C3 for free, which I will gladly take. Let's see, Juan Lee, I guess I'm going to just go bishop G2 and castle. Indiana Fats were in book openings. Knight takes E6 from Pasqualino, bishop F5 from Pearl Hacker. So pretty standard openings going on all over the place. Let's see, Jay Russell, let me capture on E4. Rook D1 against Trivial Pursuit. And Knight E4 from Electron DX. So now I have to see, Knight takes E4 and pawn takes E4 is something I'm strongly considering. And then Knight D2. How does that one look? I'm going to give that a try out and see. Okay, Indiana Fats has gone bishop D7, queen D2. Against Spindock, what's my method of developing here? Maybe just queen to D2. Got to look out for tricks, backward pawns. Maybe he can go C5 at the proper moment. I have to look out. One trick I'm looking out for is, let's say, something like if I went queen D2. Could he go knight E5 and threaten knight C4 and maybe set up some bishop takes H3 fork business over on the H3 square and the F3 square? So we got to see about that situation. G4 is kind of a normal move there. Queen E2. I'm not sure if I really want to put my queen on the same line as that. And another move to think about is just knight D5, going for some space advantage. I'm going to try knight D5, actually. I've seen that kind of stuff. Happens in Dragons, where you play for knight D5 and the E file opens and you get some play. Okay, pawn takes E4 from Jay Russell, and I will go knight to D2. Juan Lee has gone castles, and I'm going to castle. And knight to D2, Electron DX, and Indiana Fats, Minnesota Fats. I think that was some kind of pool player. And bishop to E3 against Pearl Hacker. Let's see if we get involved in the heavy book. Trivial Pursuit has gone queen C7, and it's a tough decision here. I think I'm going to try D5 and see how it goes. Ears has gone knight C6, and I'm going to play pawn takes C5. A5 from Indiana Fats. I always go rook to B1 there. And pawn to E5 from Jay Russell. And what's going on here with, do I like knight takes E4? Or do I think I'm just going to go for knight takes E4 straight out. Okay, so queen F4 against Pasqualino. Move my queen away. Nezhmadinov has tried queen E7. His usual move, I think, was queen to F6 and then D4. So queen E7 is another try. I have to investigate what happens if I play queen H5 check and he goes G6 and I take it, and then he goes queen takes E4. I don't know. I think I'm just going to go D4 and try to be a little bit calm about this. Okay, Pearl Hacker has gone queen B6. I'll go knight C3. H6 from Nibaka. And I think I'm going to play knight BD2. And H6 from Trivial Pursuit. I'm not sure why he thought he needed to play H6. I'm just going to go G3. And then Jay Russell, I'm going to take back with the bishop on E4. Okay, and now let's see what to do against Juan Lee. If I take this pawn on C5, how easy is it for him to get it back? This is a question. So let's see what's going on here. C5 for Electron DX, and I was thinking that knight takes E4 was pretty good for me, so I'm going to stick to that. We got Spindock has gone rook to E8. And that looks like a good move, hitting my E-pawn. And I think I might have to take on F6. Jay Russell has gone F5, and I will retreat bishop G2. So my openings in most of these games look halfway decent, which is the hard part sometimes. Okay, bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4 from Electron DX. Queen takes from Spin Dock. I'm just going to go c3 and protect my knight. E takes d4 against J. Russell. I'm going to go rook takes d4. A piece sack from SimulMaster. Bishop takes g4. Stuff like this has been done. Okay, I'm just going to play takes on g4. I, of course, have to. I mean, you know, sometimes when the people sack on you, you just have to take it. Okay, now what's happening here? Rook to d8 from Won Lee. Does he have any, or she, is there any kind of discovery that would annoy me here? I'm thinking of maybe just going rook to d. Let's see. Well, I already played rook to c1, so I'm thinking of just developing with knight to c3. Sometimes in these counterlands, what happens is the bishop on g2 is stronger than the bishop on c8, and that's what gives the advantage. Okay, now some kind of simple move here against SimulMaster. Maybe I should just go queen to d2, let him take my bishop. I have to make sure. That looks okay. Had to make sure of f5 ideas coming up. You know, investigate that sort of stuff. Okay, Electron DX. I'm tempted to give this pawn back here and see if I could get some action going. I'm going to try d5 and see if I can mate him. And let's see what's going on. J. Russell has snatched a pawn, and it would be nice if I could keep his queen in there. I don't know if I can. If I go queen to c3, that might be one possibility to do. And what's going on with his queen there? Another possibility is for me just to go rook to d6 to try to keep him from developing. I think I'm going to try rook to d6 and keep him from developing and see what he does about this kind of stuff. Let's see now how to do something to Niebaka here. I'm going to try knight to b3. And Pearl Hacker has gone queen takes b2, and I'm going to go queen to b1. We're involved in a heavy book deal here. Very, very book kind of stuff. Trading queens against ears. E3 against Eternal Warrior. J. Russell has backed up his queen, and I'm going to go rook to d1. My whole idea is I sack the pawn. I want to keep that bishop from moving. Okay, Won Lee, I'm going to go knight takes. We're going to have lots of trades here. And Electron DX has gone knight takes e5, and now I want to see. I really like my position here. I'm thinking about just pawn takes pawn. See if I could get in there with his king. Knight e7 from a queen, and I'm going to go c4. Ears has gone knight takes d8, and I'm going to play knight to d2 and try and get my pawn back. Typical Catalan type of thing. And let's see. I don't think Ears can keep it. Trading queens against Won Lee. Let's see what he captures back with. I like my position. I feel slight advantage either way. J. Russell has retreated with queen c7. He's got to figure out some way to develop. I'm going to go b4 and maybe take up some space on the other side. Let's see. Is that the right thing to do, though? I'm not sure. Maybe queen c3 or something is a better thing. It's hard to say. E3 is not a bad move. I have compensation, but his position, of course, is okay. Queen takes b1, rook takes b1 from Pearl Hacker. Won Lee, let's see how to take advantage of this Catalan type business here. Looking at e3, and then to see what would happen there. Any discoveries on his rook. If I go knight to d2, I'm not so sure. If I go knight e1, he might have rook to d2, so I have to see what's going on with this. I think I'm just going to go e3, and that looks reasonable. Okay, Electron DX. Can I go pawn takes f7 check first? And then take, so in between move. Queen D7 from Eternal Warrior. And at what moment can I start to think about pawn takes pawn for me? Okay, Juan Lee has retreated. And now let's see. How do I come up with some advantage here against this Catalan? I think I'm going to try knight to G5, see if I can bother him on the C5 square. Neshmedinov has turned it into a pawn sack with knight C6, and again Queen H5 isn't so good. I'm thinking of just going knight C3 and seeing if I can return things just to make it comfortable. So let's see, Trivial Pursuit, knight H4 looks like a good routine in that King's Indian. Now we got Spindock has gone knight E5, so he's trying to get his knight into C4. I'm going to just go Queen E. Well, I have to be careful. If I go Queen E2, he has this kind of C5 bishop to B5 idea, and that might win the exchange for him. So I have to take care a little bit of this knight C4 idea. I mean, if worse comes to worse, I go backwards with my bishop. And, you know, you seen that kind of stuff in Sicilians a lot. I'm looking to see if he goes C5 and knight F3 check, if that's going to bother me. I'm going to try Queen C2. I have to be a little bit careful there. Let's see how Jay Russell unravels himself. He's gone H6. I'm going to go H4 just in case to lock that side up. All right, now Eternal Warrior. I'm looking to see if I could go pawn takes pawn here and then see if I could bother him on some squares. Bishop E7 developing from Electron DX, but I'm up a pawn and I'm pretty happy about it here. Let's see, C4 from Pearl Hacker. And rook takes B7 has to be the right thing for me to do. I've studied this with a lot of my students, and I know it's like rook takes B7 things, and you know, and all kinds of knight B5 ideas and stuff like that. And it's a very you know, it's a very sharp position. I never really understood the Caro-Kann people playing that, because the Caro-Kann is supposed to be a solid opening, and just I don't know that it makes sense. Okay, now Pasqualino's gone bishop E6. I'm just going to castle. Electron DX has gone king G6, and I'm wondering about various. I don't know. I'm thinking about playing F4 to see where his knight goes. Rook E1 looks good. Bishop F4 looks pretty normal. I think I'm going to go for Bishop F4, just develop, see if I can take advantage of some stuff. Okay, Queen E7 from J.R. Russell. He wants to, J. Russell, sorry, he wants to develop with Bishop to E6. And I have to see if I could keep him from doing that. Now, I get control of the D file. I was thinking about something like Queen E3, and then on Queen E3, Bishop E6 to go Queen E5 and try and tie him up a little bit. That might be a decent thing to do. All right, let's give that a try and see how that one works. Okay, C6 from McQueen 9-5. And I remember I studied Sergei Kudrin games, American GM Sergei Kudrin. Played this position really well for white. Okay, now Juan Lee, what's going on here with this? He went B6, which stops knight C5, but what's the situation on knight to D6? He might be getting into trouble over here on the C6 square. Let's see, Trivial Pursuit has gone bishop to F6, and I'm going to go knight back to F3. That was testing. Good to do some testing, take, see what happens. And now Nibaka. I haven't really come upon a decent idea against Nibaka yet. I know that sometimes they start to do I'm going to rearrange my knights, maybe go for F4, some kind of plan like that. Let's try the Queen E5 that I spoke about against Jay Russell and see if I could dig up some compensation or something. And now Pasqualino's gone Queen D7, and I'm looking to see if I could bother him at all. Rook E1 seems like the kind of thing to do. A6 from Pearl Hacker. And now I'm wondering where my king, if I need to defend this pawn on C2 at all. I'm thinking of just I know that it's some kind of sharp stuff with knight g5 should be looked at. I know that I should be looking at knight a4 for sure. If I go knight a4, that's just threatening knight b6 straight off, and that might be rough for him to deal with. I have to look at this one a little bit more. And king d2 just doesn't seem bad either. I think I'm going to go with king d2 and see if I get double rooks. Now, Juan Lee has gone king f8, and what am I missing? Can I just go bishop takes, knight on c6, and just have a nice position there? And that looks like a normal kind of thing to do. All right, Electro DX. I'm up a pawn in this position. I think I'm just going to go king to g2, make sure nothing funny happens. I'm going to try against Nibaka. I'm going to try this f4 and then some kind of maybe g4 and see if I can rush him there. Okay, let's see what Juan Lee's up to. Looks like that game is up a piece. Queen a5, and I'm going to just drop back with bishop to e3 against Indiana Fats. Shamax has taken my bishop on e3. I've taken it back. And now Pasqualino has gone for the extremely controversial looking Castle's queen side. So what's going on? What is going on with this now? I'm looking at ideas here. I don't know. I mean, knight d4 bothering his bishop like that, and if my queen gets to d4, I'm hitting a7. Looks kind of interesting. Normal development with just knight c3 looks like it could be okay. I think I'm going to try this knight to d4 idea and see if that would bother him a little bit. Okay, Juan Lee's gone king e7, and I think I just retreat my knight. Knight b5 looks okay. Knight e4 looks okay. I think I'm going to go knight e4 and just stay up a piece. f5 from Shamax. So threatening a fork and getting involved in. We're getting involved in some very tactical looking stuff here. So I got to see what the situation here is with this. I suppose his idea is on pawn takes pawn to go e4. Well, I'm in it. I have to try it. Okay, Ears has given the pawn back with c3. Seen this kind of stuff. Knight e2 from Spindock. h6 from Pearl Hacker. Now knight h4 is getting more tempting. Knight a4, sorry. I'm going to try knight a4 and see what he does about that. Electron DX has gone king h7. And I'm going to soften him up with bishop e4 check a little bit, see where he puts his king. Rook d5 from Juan Lee. I'm going to go rook c7 check. I think that's one game where I'm winning already, I have to say. Let's see, Trivial Pursuit, king g7. I'm going to finish my development with rook to c1. e4, Shamax, as we expected. And I will just go bishop to e2 and get out of the way. Juan Lee, I'll trade rooks. And now let's see what to do against Indiana Fats. Rook fc8 is the normal idea. And I've played this kind of position a lot. I'm wondering if I could just go b4 here. I mean, sometimes a4 can be premature. I think I'm going to try b4, and he's going to take en passant. Knight d7 from Pearl Hacker. And I have to look to see what's my deal here with rook takes d7. Rook takes d7, king takes, knight check, king up, and he traps my knight. So, I don't know, if my knight is getting trapped in the corner, is there any way for me to take advantage of that deal while it's in the corner? So, I think I'm going to just double rooks instead and perhaps threaten it. Knight f3 check from Spindock, and I'm just going to go king h1. I thought I had that situation somewhat under control. Let's see what Jay Russell is trying to do to me. I'm going to try queen c5 and see if I could soften him up a little bit. Maybe queen a5 was a better way to soften him up, but he might snatch a pawn. b3 is a normal-looking move. I think I'm just going to go b3 there. I'm banking on the fact that I have the file, and I'll see what I could do to him. Okay, knight takes c6 against Nejmedinov. Shamax is threatening to gain his piece back with f4. And I'm going to play the strange-looking castle's king side with no pawn cover, but it looks okay. All right, rook d1 check against Juan Lee. And bishop c6 from Spindock. So Spindock is putting big pressure on me here. I have not played this one too well. Of all the openings that I've gotten involved in, this one is probably the worst for me. And I'm going to go knight to f4. And I've lost my e-pawn. All right, Jay Russell has gone queen to f6. And I'm going to try to solve him up a little bit. I'm going to try queen to c5 and see if I could get him to do something with his pawn structure. Juan Lee, I guess I'll just go rook to d2 and keep my extra piece and take my time and see how that one goes. Okay, so McQueen has gone knight g6, and now how good is bishop to d3 any good for me? Let's see where he goes with his queen. Bishop to e7 from Trivial Pursuit. And I'm going to try to bother him some. I'm going to go queen d2. I'm trying to keep him from unraveling. I'm going to go e5 against Nizhmadimov. Uh-oh. Electron DX has got himself pinned. What's the deal here? If I go h4, can I attempt to win a piece? I'm gonna try h4. I'm gonna try and win a piece here, and see if I can get something nice going there. Rook h8 was a nice thing for me to put force against Trivial Pursuit, because now when he goes f5, his pieces are in the wrong place. So I'm gonna try. Let's see. I think I'm just gonna take some space up and go f4. See if I could do something there. Okay, Juan Lee is down a piece. I went knight c3, stop anything there. Recapture on d4 against Pasqualino. Electron X has DX has gone rook e8. I'm going to go bishop f5. Pasqualino has gone king h8. And now I have to see what is the best way for me to develop here. Bishop e3 with a tempo, maybe. Bishop e3 hitting b6, any good. I think I'm going to try. I think I'm just going to develop with knight to c3 and come out and leave that idea for later. All right, now how do I make something happen here with the pawn sack against Jay Russell? His position is so solid. I think I'm going to have to try to break him on the queen side. I'm going to try pawn to b4 and see if I could crack him open. Trivial Pursuit has gone f5. And now I got to see, all right, so he got f5 in, but it's extremely loose for him. How do I take advantage of this one? I'm going to try pawn takes f5 and then see what sort of thing I could do after that. Okay, now McQueen has gone queen h5, and I'm always on the lookout for some suspicious tricks here. I'm going to try knight to e5 on him and see what's going on. Rook d8 from Jay Russell. And let's see, I was thinking of just leaving that there and going pawn to b5. I think I'm okay, but I don't think I'm better. So that's, so that's the question in that game. I think I'm okay, but I don't think I'm better. All right, Pearl Hacker. Well, rook takes d7's got to be right now. So I just did it, and let's see what happens. Queen c2 against Trivial Pursuit. Bishop takes e4 against Spin Knock. That's the game where I've lost a pawn. And Yuan Lee, I'm just going to come closer to the center with my king. I'm taking my time there. Knight takes e5 from McQueen, and I shall go pawn takes e5. And Yuan Lee, f5. I'm coming up with my king some more. I'm up a piece. Rook takes d6. Rook takes d6 from Jay Russell. G5 from Yuan Lee, and I'll just play pawn takes, and I'll go rook back to d1. I'm trying to play on both sides of the board. This simul's moving on pretty quickly today, it feels like. Okay, now let's see what's happening with Indiana Fats. The usual routine here is some kind of rook a3 thing for him. I think I'm going to protect with queen c2 in advance, and that looks okay. Knight b6 against Pearl Hacker. Let me have that rook. I'm going to go rook to h1 and bother Yuan Lee from the other side. Knight takes a8. I feel like I'm just up a piece against Pearl Hacker. Nizhmadimov has gone knight to g4. And I'm just going to go bishop to e2 and try and stop any tricks. They're a pretty tactical position, and I want to keep everything under control. Okay, Jay Russell. So what's happening here? I took the pawn. I'm getting the pawn on C6, A5 from Pearl Hacker, and now I feel like I must have some kind of knockout punch here somewhere. I'm not afraid of C3. Rook B6 check fall. Let me try Rook B6 check and see where he goes. That can't hurt anything. Okay, Juan Lee has gone King F6. I'm just going to go A3 and guard all my stuff. Bishop takes E4 from Spin Dock. This is the game where I'm in the worst shape. Let's see what to do here. Wondering about H4. All right, let's give it. Let's try H4. I'm making it up now as I go along because it didn't turn out so hot. Now let's see. I'm gonna try and blast open the center on Trivial Pursuit with pawn to C5, and now Bishop takes E5 from a queen. And I was trying to set up this trick. Does Knight H6 win his queen? So it's check, and I think I won his queen. So we'll see. Have to see what's the deal with that. Okay, Pearl Hacker has gone king to B7, and now I have to see what is my best way to do this. I could tie him up on the back, I guess, which is not a terrible thing to do. Got to make sure nothing funny happens with Bishop to B4 check. I'm wondering if I should give him another check for the heck of it, but what happens if he goes back to B8? I'm thinking of now on pawn takes pawn. He probably can't allow Knight E5. I think I'm going to go C3 and just see what he's up to here. And I got to keep an eye on my knight. I got to get my knight out of there at some point. Okay, Pasqualino has gone Knight F5. Looks like a very sensible move for him. I'll trade queens. I think that position probably it's about equal, I would have to say. You know, I mean, I don't think I'm getting any big deal going there. That's for sure. Okay, now Trivial Pursuit. I would like to crack him open here nice, but I don't know. It's a possibility that I could overdo it. I got my rooks on C1. I'm ready to go here. What's a nice way to do this? I'm looking at takes. I think I'm going to take on D6 first, see what he takes it back with. Pasqualino should have taken back with the bishop on D7. Now, what happens if I go bishop takes F5? Is Pasqualino in trouble? All right, and now Shamax has gone bishop H6, and I have to move my queen. I guess I can move my queen to F2. And I feel like he's getting collapsed on F5. All right, Nejmadinov is going to queen H4. I'm going to take on G4. I'm happy in a lot of these positions. Now, what to do against Jay Russell? I'm going to be up a pawn. And when I get up the pawn, is that going to be a good thing? Or what's the story here? Or it's possible with everything on the same side, it could be a draw. So I wish I had some kind of better move here than rook takes c6, which is just trading down. And when you trade down in these positions, sometimes it just becomes a draw because it's at 4-3, everything on the same side. So what kind of things can I do here? Is there any way to keep him tied up? I think I'm going to try king to h2, maybe take that pawn later and see what happens. Okay, now let's see what Nibaka has castled, and it's interesting. I don't know. I don't want to let them. If I go g4, this position, I'm gonna try getting my knight to e3 and see if I could do something like that. All right, Juan Lee's gone b5, and I will go rook to b7. I think that one I can almost get ready to chalk that one up. That one looks like a possibility. Okay, Spindok's gone knight back to e4, and I'm going to go knight d5. I'm just going to try and scrape up some compensation here. Jay Russell's gone queen e7, and now I'm looking to see what can I do. I'm looking at queen e5 again, and I'm going to go queen e5, and Nejmadinov is offering a queen trade, and I'll take the queen trade and probably wind up castle and queen side or something. Spin dock, I'm just making it up as I go along. I dumped the pawn, and I got to see what's the situation after I dump the pawn. Pearl Hacker, I would like to get my knight out of that situation there. If I go rook to b8, then knight to b6 doesn't seem like it's so good. Rook to a6, what does that do for me? I'm gonna try. Let's see, and then this one is not as easy as I thought it would be. Maybe I should just get my knight back out. I'm gonna just retreat with rook to b2 and just get my knight out of there and try to be up something. Okay, now Jay Russell, what happens on bishop takes c6? Let's see. So I took a pawn back. And we're rolling through here. Simul's been going half an hour, and already there's a lot of positions that look pretty nice, have clarified itself pretty much. Now I got to see against Nejmadinov. I think I have to see what the situation is here. Is he going to come out fast with his pieces? And if this turns into a bishop opposite color position somehow, what's my situation? All right, I'm going to go bishop to d2. I'm afraid of a bishop opposite color situation. Okay, now Trivial Pursuit. Oy, I feel like something bad might happen to him here. All right, I'm gonna take on c6, try to open this up. All right, Spin Dock has gone knight to f6 to get rid of that knight, and I'm wondering if bishop to g5 is doing anything for me. Let's see what's going on with bishop to g5. Maybe that pin will get me something back. I don't know. All right. Ears has castled. Ears is playing very solidly. And now let's see. How do I get the pressure on the B file? The typical Catalan pressure on the B file. I'm going to go rook to b1. In Juan Lee, it looks like I'm just, I took a pawn, now I'm up a piece and a pawn, and I have a passed pawn. So I'm going to see if I could just consolidate this and push my pawn and chalk one up. I don't want to say chalk one up for the good guys because, you know, I mean, people playing the Simul are good guys also. So we'll see what happens with this. Rook takes b4. And this one looks like it's always good to score early in the Simul. There have been some Simuls where I've been down 2-0 early and then made a comeback. I think my best Simul I had with the black pieces, and we'll see. You know, we'll see how that's going on. There's a lot of chess. There's a New York International going on in New York. Okay, Juan Lee's gone g4, and now I feel like, let me see. Should my king come closer to support the passed pawn? All right, I'm just going to go rook to d4 and take my time there. We have e3 from Shamax. Can I just snatch this pawn on f5, or do I want to be greedier and go queen g2 and threaten discovered attacks? I think I'm going to be greedier and threaten discovered attacks. Okay, queen takes e1 from Spin Dock, and we got Juan Lee. That was sort of what I was hoping for. Pushing pawns, I'll go rook back to b4 and try and take advantage of the looseness of his structure or her structure in a little bit. And liquidations would be fine. Now I'm looking for liquidation with rook to b6. Rook takes, knight d5 check. That feels like a very nice way to take a lot of the steam out of the position. So tomorrow will be the last day of the Paris tour of the Grand Prix. Those are nice tournaments those guys get to play in, all in really nice countries, nice places, good money, a lot of fun. All right, Trivial Pursuit. What should I do to him here? I'm thinking I like the fact that all my rooks are developed. I'm gonna go queen to b2 and see if I could get some nice discovery on his queen. Okay, we got bishop takes c2, queen takes c2 from Kniebaka. Technically, that in technical terms, that's getting rid of his bad bishop. Let's face it, that bad bishop that good bishop, bad bishop stuff is just something that it's not really a completely locked position. So that bishop on f5 was not a bad bishop, and maybe I could cause trouble with my light squared bishop later on. So bishop to e6 from Nizhmadinov, and I'm going to castle queenside. Let's see, spin dock. Now, what do I want? How do I want to do this against spin dock? Do I just want to take my pawn back and be okay, or do I want to be greedy with a good knight versus bad bishop kind of situation? I don't know. I mean, it really, when you're down a pawn and you get it back, you got to be happy. Spin dock has offered a draw. I don't know. I think I'm going to take my pawn back and try to play a little bit. What the heck? And let's see, Indiana Fats. B4 would be the usual routine here for me. Can I do B4? Or is knight A4 some kind of problem? I'm going to try B4 and drive him back. Okay, Pro Hacker's got knight C6. And my intention was to just get my knight out of there and bring it back into the game. So let me go knight B6 and do that. Let's get that knight to safety and see what happens. Okay, so I got some games room up of pieces, so I'm happy about this. Good start to the simul. F6 from Kniebaka. Well, all right, I'm going to see if I could persuade Kniebaka to go to do something about his E6 pawn there. All right, now let's see what's going on with Trivial Pursuit. I really like my position here. I mean, I've opened up his center, and now the question is how to take advantage. Knight 5 looks okay. Trying to get some discoveries. Oh, look at this bishop A3 from Pro Hacker. Is my rook getting into trouble? Didn't think of that. All right, I'm going to go rook to B5 and see if I could live through this. Ears, I would like to keep Ears' bishop from going somewhere. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking if I go bishop A3, that would look like the normal routine. Knight to D4. I think I'm going to try knight on B to D4 and open up that Catalan bishop thing and see what we could do. I'm going to play a little bit spin dock. I don't think my position's better at all, but I figure, I don't know, maybe I'll work on the backward pawn or something and just see what the heck. And most likely the game should be a draw. I should consider myself lucky after dumping a pawn there that at least I got some tricky business going on with the D5 square. Managed to persuade Kniebaka to play F5, and now it's going to be one of these deals where I have to see. It's an extremely locked type of position. Where does my bishop belong here? I'm going to put my bishop on H3 and try and get the G4 business going. Okay, Shamax. Well, Shamax, at the very least, I go knight takes F5. I trade queens. I feel like I'm just up a piece there, so that's got to be the right thing to do for me. Can't be bad to liquidate into that. Rook D1 against Ears. Ears is playing solidly. And now, what is going on here with Pro Hacker? Pro Hacker, what's he trying to do? I feel like he's trying to do something to my rook. I'm going to take on F6 and take his H6 pawn and see if I could, snatch something and run away. Nizhmadinov has gone castles. I'm going to go bishop to E3. I just did all that just to avoid bishop opposite color position that I was kind of worried about. So then bishop takes H6 from Pro Hacker, and I'm taking some stuff. And if I do have to lose my rook, well, then maybe I've got a nice H pawn to bother him with, and I could maybe sack the exchange. Okay, let's see. Shamax, I guess I should take on G7, trade down some stuff. Very solid-looking game from Ears today. I'm going to go bishop to A3 and just develop, and I think that Ears has made a pretty equal position. Let's see what to do against Shamax. Somehow, what is my next thing to do here? maneuver this knight around. Okay, I'm going to bring this knight around and get it to d4, maybe try to get it into f5 or e6 to bother him. Maybe surround that e-pawn. And if I take that e-pawn, I'll just be up a piece. As it is, I'm up a piece for one pawn, and it's the pawn on e3. That looks pretty nice for me. Let's see. Yep, Ears has gone bishop to e8. Looks like a nice move. Now I'm looking at various pawn structure situations for him. I don't know. I'm thinking about bishop c5 stuff. Always wondering about. I think I'm just going to go e3 and just cement that knight in there and see what the story is. I'm having a good time chasing Trivial Pursuit's queen around, and I think I'm going to do it again with bishop to c4. Okay, here we go with Nejmedinov. I'm going to move my knight somewhere just to avoid the bishop opposite color position that could happen. This bishop opposite color could get annoying there. I'm going to see if I can control Shamax's knight. I'm going to go bishop to d3 and try and also surround that pawn. Okay, Ears has gone knight to d5, threatening a fork on me. And I'm going to go rook on d to c1 and just protect that pawn and see. I don't know if I have anything against Ears, of course, but we'll have to see what the story is. Okay, rook e8 from Shamax, and now I guess I'm gonna bring my knight back. I guess knight back to c3 looks pretty good. Knight back to d4. Sorry. Okay, now Pro Hacker's gone knight to d8, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on here exactly. I don't know. I have this h pawn. Well, let me go bishop f4 check. You never know. Maybe I'll mate him by accident. So bishop f4 check looks good. I could always get rid of my rook with rook to b8, I guess, if I have to. So I think that I'm doing okay here. It's kind of weird. Rook almost got into trouble there. Okay, king h6 from Shamax, and well, knight f5 I'm happy about. Fork the king and the queen. And I think he just got into trouble in this opening. I think these piece sacks on g4, you have to really take care when you do it, because it's, it has to be real compensation right away. Otherwise, it's just done. Okay, Nibaka has gone queen to e8. I'm going to go bishop to e3. And this is going to be a real long, drawn-out one. This is for sure. Okay, I'm going to just get out of the way of the Shamax's knight checks, and get my rook going, and see if I could rack up another one. So after this time, we'll have a little bit of a vacation. School's out, which is nice. Okay, rook check from Shamax. From me against Shamax. Let me try and get my rook after his queenside pawns. Get that rook down there. Looks like the rook could be munching on those queenside pawns pretty shortly. King e5 from Shamax. All right, I'm going to go rook to c7 and start to take as many as I can. And then maybe make some queens. Let's see. Spindock has gone rook to d8. And I suppose it would be nice if I kept that pawn from going up. I don't know if this is some kind of backward pawn situation where I could really do some. Well, rook e1 is, I'm going to do rook e1 first and then worry about other stuff after. Okay, en passant looks like against Shamax, so I am taking pawns. Pro Hacker has gone king to c6. I'll go rook to b6. Starting to take Shamax's pawns. Rook takes c6. D5 from Shamax. I'm very happy to go pawn takes pawn. Spindock has gotten his queen to c7. And now it's a question of what do I try to do to him. I'm going to go for bishop to g5 and see if I can maybe drum up some business on his king's side. Let's see. Now, what is Pro Hacker going to do to try to bother me here? I'm thinking of just pushing my H-pawn. It's a pass pawn. Let's just push him up. Let's see. Against Shamax, I'm going to go rook A6. Take some more stuff. I don't see how he can bother me here anymore. Well, he gave me a check. I'll go king to E3. And now Indiana Fats has gone knight A4. I would really like to keep that knight stranded there. I'm looking at B5 straight out, but then he goes knight C3. And then I go bishop takes, and he trades. Well, he can't trade. He has to move his bishop to D7, and I don't know if that's getting anything for me. So the other thing to try to do is try to go knight D5 and strand him like that. So I'm going to try knight to D5, see what I could do with that. Okay, here comes Naibaka has gone queen to H5. What is he up to? Does he want to? Maybe he wants to go G5 himself. All right, just in case, I'm going to go queen to D2. Okay, queen takes G5 from Spindock. Still, I got my pawn back. Now I'm just trying to bother him a little bit. Bishop takes A2 from Nejmadinov. Can he do that? I'm going to go B3. We're going to find out if he could do that. I mean, his bishop is trapped. He gets some checks. So we'll see what the story with that is, if that's anything for me, whether I'm just trapping his bishop. Okay, Pro Hacker's gone knight C6, and that's nice for me. That's going to let my rook get to B7 and then start to run around on the 7th rank. I got to be happy about that one. Bishop takes D5, E takes D5 against Indiana Fats. And now I'm just trying to make his knight on A4 look funny. I mean, he might be able... He's got to see if he can play for maybe some B5 at the right moment. But, you know, that might... If I set it up the right way, maybe I could just take on B5. Okay, Pro Hacker has gone king E8. And I'm going to push my H-pawn. Queen C6 check from Spindock. And where's the safest place for my king? I'm just going to put it on HG1. On H1. H2, maybe he would bother me in some cases with a queen F3, so try to keep this protected. Now, what's he trying to do to me now? I'm sort of messing around here, and then he did rook to E8, and I'm going to try rook to D1. Okay, now, so what's the discovered attack here that finally does Trivial Pursuit in? All right. Now, this looks nice. I was messing around. Bishop C5 looks pretty interesting. Where's his queen go then? I was looking at knight takes F6, queen takes F6, and then trying to crack him over there with knight takes E5. But then he has knight F3 check at the end. Knight B6 is probably the most normal thing for me to do. And I don't know. I think I'm going to try bishop to B5 and threaten even more discoveries. Okay, what's happening? Pro Hacker has attacked my rook. And let's see. What's the best place for me to put my rook? Rook 2. That rook could wind up on getting chased all over the place. Could wind up on G3. Got to make sure nothing suspicious happens. Look at this. If he gets a rook to B1, he might get a bishop to B1 mate. So I'm a little scared of that. I'm just going to go rook to B6. Okay, queen F3 from Spindock. And Spindock is at it again here, bothering me. And I think I have to go rook F1. And now I'm just going to try to make a draw here because I tried something that didn't work. And probably I should just try to be solid here and make a draw. I think I'm protecting F2 good enough. Probably I should be happy there if he offered me a draw. So let's see how that one goes. Like I was saying, I think my best simul was when I was playing the black pieces. I've had a few simuls where I've only lost one game. I've never had a simul where I won or went undefeated. I mean, these simuls are... You know, people play tough, so never an easy time. Okay, so against Spindock, I'm just making sure I don't get mated. It was the same routine as when I lost a pawn. Just trying to hang in there, okay. And sometimes that's the way you got to do it. So I figure I have enough. If he goes rook e2, my f pawn's defended, and I get queen d8, and I take d6, bother c5. That looks, I mean, maybe he's better. Okay, Spin Dog offered me a draw, and I'm happy to take it. A good game there. Good opening. I have to check that out. I didn't play it too well. And Philadelphia Cheto, never played against it. Never played it against it in a tournament. Haven't really played against the Philidor a lot, strangely enough. And but probably, I mean, after he wins the pawn on e4, there must be something better. But I did bother him a little bit with the knight d5, chasing his queen back to d8. And then the pin with bishop g5 was annoying him, so he had to give the pawn back. Okay, Pearl Hacker has gone rook to a7, and I'm going to go knight to h4. Looks nice. Queen to d4 from Indiana Fats. And the question here is that when is he going to do some kind of b5 thing? That's what I'm wondering. That's going to be the big question here. So let's see. I don't want to go b5 myself, because if I go b5 myself, that's when he starts to bother me. Get that strong knight on c5 is the whole point of this opening. I think I'm leaning towards just going bishop to f1 here, and then seeing if I could unravel myself afterwards. Okay, let's see what Niebach is doing here. I've got him pretty bottled up, but my bishop is really in the wrong place in this position, isn't it? It seems really to be in the wrong place. Okay, I'm going to go rook to f3. There's going to be incredible preparations here. Rook ac8, another solid move from Ears, and I'm going to just hang out. I'm going to go h5 and take up some space on the other side. I think Ears is doing an excellent job in that game. All right, now I would like to provoke something again with Pearl Hacker. I'm thinking about going bishop to g4 to see if he gives me some squares. So I'm going to go bishop to g4 and try to tie him up a little bit. I feel like this is should be a pretty easy win for me. But, I have been known to screw up piece-up positions in these kind of games. Okay, Trivial Pursuit. Oh, there's like a million hits on his queen. Knight takes f6 feels like something that could be good. What about if I go pawn takes f4? I'm going to go pawn takes f4. Okay, c5 from Nezhmadinov. Trying to get some business going here. I'm trying to trap his bishop. He's trying to keep his bishop from getting trapped. All right, I'm going to try king to c3. Two bishops it's a possibility that I'm attacking two bishops here. And if he checks me, I come back. I mean, it's I have to see. It looks pretty good for me. So as far as lost positions go, I don't think I have any I don't even know if I have any in trouble. We'll see. Let's see. Okay, b5. The Indiana Fats game is always a tough game. This is one situation that I have to look out for. Okay, so b5 is the usual routine, and now I have to see here, what do I want to do about him? One thing is I would like to make sure I'm ready to take back on c4 in some kind of decent way. I don't know about rook e1, and then he takes on c4. If that pawn got to c3, that could be a little bit of aggravation. If I go queen d3 or from a queen trade, I don't think that's going to be too good either. Bishop g5 is possibly the something to do here. Let me take a look. I'm going to try bishop to g5, see if that does something. Okay, Pearl Hacker has gone f5, which I'm happy to see, because then I got more squares for my pieces in a little while. I'm going to go back bishop all the way back to D1. Can use that G5 square, can use that E5 square, can use the Z5 square. Yankee game's on the TV. They're losing 3-1. They're hanging in there, having a decent season, but you never know. So that's this baseball update for those of you who's interested in that kind of thing. So let's see what the story is here. I didn't see if I was playing 20 people in the simul, so I don't know exactly what the score could be. It feels like it has a chance to be a fast simul today. I mean, I figure usually the simuls take about 2.5, something like that, but today it feels like it's going very fast. Okay, let's see what happened with Trivial Pursuit. Trivial Pursuit, after G takes F4, went queen to E6. And now I'm just looking for the easiest win here without getting myself all aggravated. And he is threatening queen G4 check. I'm glad I noticed that. I guess I could go knight takes F6, but then I don't know. Does he get a lot of checks? It sort of feels like I should just go. Let me just go king to H1 and get out of the way of that. All right, rook to C8 from Niebacher, trying to go C5. And I would like to keep him from going C5, so I'm going to go queen to F2. So this game has really become a heavily maneuvering game, thanks mostly to me putting my bishop on H3, which does nothing, and I'm trying to dig it out of there. Got to figure out some kind of plan. But the good thing is my plan might be my best plan here might be the fact that he has no plan. It's been known to happen in chess. So let's see what he can do here. I'm going to just try to unravel myself and see if I could make some kind of thing out of this. I'm keeping an eye on his G4 idea, G5 idea. I want to make sure that doesn't happen. So if he gets some kind of G5 idea going, that could be a real situation for me. And I don't know. I mean, he can go G6 and rook G7, and I still don't believe that G5 is going to bother me. Okay, now what's happening here with Trivial Pursuit? Queen to G4. I'm thinking that my simplest move here might be just nice bishop E2, threatening more discoveries on his queen. What else? All right, so a lot of discoveries on his queen here, and so far I'm not really sure I've accomplished anything. So it's kind of funny. All right. Now, Ears has taken on D4. Ears, I don't know. Ears has repaired my pawn structure a little bit. And we'll have to see what he's trying to do there. Also, he's getting himself into a little bit of time pressure. Nejmedinov, what do I want to take back with on D4? Let me take back with the knight. I'm bothering those bishops. Rook A1 would be a nice threat for me. With the two bishops stuck in there. So that's what I'm after. Just let me have a rook A1, and I think I'm happy to win a piece. My king looks okay on C3. My position looks well protected here, so it looks like a knight B5. If C5 were to happen, I don't really see what that does. So it looks like it looks really nice for me. And you know, Nejmedinov plays pretty well, but it's like there's this guy in I see at the Chicago Open every year. He's a nice guy, Dean Arand. I don't know if anybody knows him. He's a good player. He actually could be a good, he's a good player, and I tell him all the time, Dean, you could probably be a good player. Just learn some normal openings. I kind of feel that way with Nejmedinov. I know that people like to specialize in weird stuff, but I mean, trying to play normal chess is, I try to teach my students. I tell them there's like a normal way to play chess, where to put the pieces, and that's the best way to play instead of coffee house stuff and whatnot and things like that. But, some people want to play crazy tactical stuff, so that's okay too. It depends on what we want. I mean, I was always my favorite player as a kid growing up, and I couldn't tell anybody this. Of course, back then was I really like in Karpov's games. If you look up Karpov's games in the Nice 1974 Olympics, I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but this guy isn't bad. And and he would just play like regular chess. Sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes he'd make draws because his opponents would defend well, but he never also played a bad opening, which which is another kind of good thing. Okay, now Nejmedin, let's see. Ears has gone knight a5, and I feel like I need to stop knight to c3. I'm looking a little bit to see if bishop takes d5 could give me any advantage. Probably not. So it looks like I just go bishop to c3, and if he goes knight c3, I have e2 protected, so that'll let me move my rook somewhere. And also the rook is defended by the bishop on a3, so if I wanted to lift that other rook up, that's probably not so bad. And Ears is getting in a time pressure. So I don't know. I'm kind of satisfied. It feels like it's one of the best timals I played. The games, make some sense. The usual blunders, here and there, like against Spindock. But at least sometimes when I blunder, it really, what do they say? Game over, right? So that's what I'm trying to avoid in these things. So we're waiting for some moves. I don't know what's going on the other boards. Let's see. Nejmedinov has gone rook he8. I don't see how that stops me. Let me have my rook a1 that I've been really dying to do for a long time. We got the queen f5 from the Trivial Pursuit. And now Trivial Pursuit, I'm no longer after his queen. I'm thinking of pinning him. I'm looking at this pin with maybe rook to g1. I'm making sure that on pawn takes pawn. I have knight f6. So I'm going to try rook to g1. And with a pin on the king's side now. Let's see, bishop d7 from Ears. I'm going to go on a mission with my bishop and see if I can get control of the only open file with bishop a6. And you know how it is. You get the only open file, and then you see if you could get in there and take a7 maybe, this kind of stuff. Okay, we got Nibok to back his queen up to g6. And now, what is my next thing to try to do? Well, my bishop, I could go g3 and get my bishop back now, so I think I'm going to take the opportunity to do that. Get my bishop somewhere where it does a little bit more than it did on h3. Pawn takes pawn from Indiana Fats. If there was any game I thought that I could lose, I figured this is the one with this. He's got this b pawn going. I can't take on c4. My intention was to take e7, but then he takes d5, and I don't know. Let me see if I could do that. All right, I'm going to try to take e7. I have to make sure if I take e7, does he have anything? Then you see, I have to be careful with knight moves and stuff. So this position became more dangerous than I thought it was. Let's see, if I go rook to d1, what does he do? He might offer me a trade of queens somewhere. I could try to get my b pawn going, but he might go queen takes d5 and take more stuff. So he's bothering me a little bit in this position. This accelerated dragon is hard to bottle up sometimes. So what is a decent move for me here? I'm kind of leaning towards b5 going for it. Bishop takes e7, knight c3. And then he gets some discovery on my. If I go rook a1, he gets a discovery on my bishop, and that can't be good. So, this one has become the most dangerous. I let it get out of control. I knew that b5 was going to be dangerous, but what can I do here to try to be a little bit solid? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to try b5 and the heck with it. I think that one I've lost a little bit of control of. All right, so let's see what bishop e6 from Trivial Pursuit, and I'm going to go knight takes F6, and I feel like I can use this pin. Rook C3 from ears. Let's see, what is this about here? Let's see, what kind of move can I do? I'm looking at rook takes, knight takes, rook C1, and if he goes knight takes, A2, can I trap his knight? So I'm going to try for that. I'm going to go for that variation. He might have other moves in there. Probably it's pretty solid for him, and it's also pretty solid for me. So let's see what's going on here. All right, Trivial Pursuit. This is the moment of truth here. Knight takes E5. If he goes checks, I block him, and I seem to be doing something nice on the G6 square, so that looks good. Ears went knight to B5, and I'm going to, can I just go bishop back to B2? I'm going to try to use my bishop pair, and I'm happy that that knight on A5 of his is stuck. So let's see, and then maybe in a little while I try to bring the center up. I don't really know where my king belongs in this position. I don't know if my king belongs in the center because it could walk into bishop checks and whatnot. So don't really know yet. Would like to maybe go get a rook to C7, but in some of the positions also. Part of the thing is I'm keeping an eye on these bishop opposite color positions too. I don't know if a lot of games have ended or something because sometimes it just gets stuck on one game. So let me go fishing around and see what's sort up. Nezhmadinov just moved. He went C5. Okay. Now, so if I take that bishop, he takes my knight. He's getting out of it. So can I go knight to B5? And still working on that. Okay, let's see what's going on. This Niebaka game is becoming an ordeal. With me, I attempting to break through at some moment somehow. Not exactly sure how yet. I suppose somehow G4 might be the right thing to play for. But that's a long time from now, that's for sure. Okay, bishop D5 check from Trivial Pursuit, and I'm going to go F3. So I got him pinned on the G file. I think I'm just threatening rook takes G6. What can he do about that? I feel like if he goes bishop F7, well, I mean, the nice move for me there might be rook C7 with pins coming in two different directions. So that looks okay. So it seems like the pins here. The Indiana Fats game is the one I got to worry about. I think that game I'm in a big trouble there. Okay, Indiana Fats has gone knight back to B6, and now I have to see what to do to him. I was really trying to bother him a lot with my B pawn, get somehow tricky with this B pawn, but I got to see what to do now. I'm thinking about rook to E1, and I lose the B pawn. Maybe I can get the E7 pawn. I'm not sure about B6. All right, I'm going to try rook to E1. This is a shaky, suspicious situation. Okay, now is Niebaka trying to go G5 again? This is the question here. All right, well, if he is, I'm going to go queen D2 and stop it. Incredible maneuvering game. Okay, rook C7 with Trivial Pursuit seems to set up a pin in one direction and a pin on the other. So that looks pretty nice. So one game I'm battling to save, and everything else looks okay. So could be a good simul today for me. There were a couple of simuls. I think there was one time I did a simul a week apart, and for whatever reason, that did not turn out well for me. That was just really bad. So today feels better. I had a lesson early in the morning. I'm becoming spoiled. I'm becoming a little spoiled because as Angela keeps, if I'm in a hurry, she keeps ordering these Uber cars, and I mean, it's I don't normally take taxis, but there's something to be said for not running around on the subway on the weekend. So we got the rook takes G6 threat and the rook takes F7 coming from here. Okay, Bishop b5 check from Nejvedinov. I go king back to b2. Looks like the bishop is trapped on a2. My knight is threatening to dunk into d6 to get even more stuff. A7 is hanging, so I'm just happy if I could be up a piece. I'm very easy. I'm a very easygoing guy. I just want to be up a piece. Makes the job easier, I guess. So let's see what he can do here. Bishop takes b3. My position looks so solid here that I think that he probably has to make sure I don't go knight d6 check and lose the exchange. Okay, let's see. Indiana Fats has gone queen takes d5, and I feel like I got to take some back. I'm a little worried about this. His C pawn might be going somewhere. I have a B pawn. I don't know that it's going anywhere. I'm going to take on e7. Knight b5 from Ears, and I was thinking about going a4 there to send him back to where he came from. But the thing, now, so it was h5, but if I go a4, I'm a little worried about my a4 pawn. So what's a good idea here? His knight on a5 feels like it's not a good piece, so I don't think I want to trade that one off. I'm thinking about knight to e4. All right, I'm going to try knight to e4. That looks maybe bother his king side a little bit. Maybe try to trade on c3 to get control of the c file. Looks like it's good. So let's see what's going on here with these games. What happened to Amav? I haven't seen that game in a long time. Game adjourned when he disconnected. Let's see. Ears is thinking. Let's see. Electron DX. Black resigned. That was the game where I attacked his rook on c8 and h5 was making a pin. His opening was a little careless there, sort of like a closed Slav, and he just I got e4 and I think in those closed Slavs, usually when e4 is in, you got to make sure that e5 doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage. Okay, Indiana Fats has retreated with bishop to e5, and let me see what to do here. I'm going to come back with bishop to h4, and I'm really banking a lot on my b pawn here. If my b pawn goes, I've had it, and if his c pawn queens, I've also had it. So we got to see. It's a lot of things have to happen here for me not to lose this one. So we'll see what the story is. Bishop f2, at least trying to unblockade him gives me some chance. Also, if there's not so many games left, maybe time pressure can help me. See what other games there are. J. Russell 2. What happened with J. Russell 2? J. Russell resigned after I played bishop takes c6. Yes. The problem there was that his rook is attacked, and if the rook moves, I just take, so that would have lost a piece. Uh-oh. All right, what happened with Ears? Ears did bishop c6, and now I have to check this. Rook takes c6. Looks like I'm getting two pieces for a rook. Knight takes c6, bishop takes b5, and then I got to see if I could consolidate myself here, maybe bring my king over. And it's a long win, but I think it should be a win for me. My king can come up to d3. I can use my minor pieces to keep his rook from bothering me on the c file, and then and then maybe I try to make a pass pawn, a d pawn most likely, and I think that would be the routine there. So let's see if he can come up with something. Okay, let me see what other games we have here. Okay, hold it. The real ordeal game is Naibaka. Okay, so now I'm going to go bishop to b5 against him and see how that one goes. It's Naibaka offered me a draw, and it's a lock position. Okay, Ears has gone knight b4. And I would, like I said, I want to make sure his rook doesn't bother me. Okay, I'm going to go a3. And then I have to keep his rook from coming in while I'm consolidating my position. So it's nice. The bishops will do a good job. One bishop on d3, one bishop on b2, locking his rook out. That allows me to bring my king over, and then I could start to do stuff. I think that would be the feels like the good technique, which sometimes I have been known not to have. So we'll see what's going on with that. Okay, Nejmadinov has gone rook takes a5, and now I feel very good here. Do I want to be greedy and go knight takes a7 and then take? Well, nah. I think I'm just going to go. What's better though? King takes a2. I think I'm just going to go rook takes a2 against Nejmadinov. Now it's up to him to see if he has any tricks. Okay. So now we got a rook a2 coming from Indiana Fats. And I'm going to go, I'm looking at stuff like bishop f2. If I feel like I cannot let rook a2 happen, so I'm just going to go rook a1. Still banking on that b pawn, causing some trouble. Okay, against ears, I'm going to start to bring my king over. King coming over to d2. Then my knight will move, and then I'll see, like I said, if I can make a pass d-pawn. And if I make a pass d-pawn supported by the pieces, I got to be pretty happy about that. And maybe even king d3 is better than king d2. Why not go up the board? Okay, looks like Indiana Fats is trying to unblockade me with a queen with a queen to d2, and I'm thinking I gotta try a bishop to e4. It's getting a little close in here. If I go rook, let's see, if I go rook to c1, he'll go rook to a2. That's that one. That one I'm not sure that I'm happy about. So rook to c1, also on rook to c1, bishop to f4 might bother me some. I don't know. It's not a good situation, that's for sure. I guess I'm going to try rook on a to c1 and just see if I can hang on for dear life here. Okay, Nejmadinov has gone a6, and I will just go knight c3. And I think I'm happy there up a piece. Knight c7 from ears. I'll go bishop to d3. So it feels like, unless something drastic happens in Indiana Fats game, it feels like that's the only game that I'm in danger of losing. So I'm going to try to defend, but it doesn't feel right. I'm going to have to prepare for him next month. If he plays some kind of accelerated dragon, I might have to come up with something different. It seems like the Moxie bind positions are not. I'm not handling them too well in these situations. Okay, I'm going to try knight to c3 against ears, maneuvering. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Indiana Fats. So I trade the queens. I have to. Well, I don't have to trade the queens, really. I can maybe go queen b3, but I don't know what that's doing. I can maybe go queen e4. Then his pawn gets to c2, and that's kind of an ugly-looking situation. I guess I have to trade the queens. Okay, rook takes e3 from Nejmadinov, and pawn takes e3. What is this about? Now I'm up a full rook. Time pressure. But like I said, if I kind of wish the guy would play. He plays pretty well. But all right, I'm going to go rook takes c8 check against Minnesota Indiana Fats. Let's see what happens against Nejmadinov. I'm up a rook. Now what to do here against Indiana Fats? Now let's see. Rook to b1. How does he unblockade me? I have a feeling that there's something here for him to do. If I go rook to d1, I'm going to try, Yeah, I'm going to just try rook to d1 is the best chance. Maybe I can surround that pawn somehow. Okay, knight c6 from Nibaka. And now, what do I want to take on c5 with? I'm going to take on c5 with the knight because then I could come back with the bishop to f4 thing. All right, let's see. Nejmadinov, we're going to go rook to g1. Indiana, let's see, ears. What is ears up to here? His king's coming towards the middle. I was just wondering, at what moment do I go e4? Not yet. Although, I mean, it could be something to be said for it. If he goes rook takes d4, I go knight d5 check. That might e4 might actually not be a bad move. I'm going to play a4. Maybe I can bother his king a little bit before I get on with the other ideas. Okay, rook takes g1, rook takes g1 against Nejmadinov, and up a rook for 2 pawns. Bishop takes c5 from Nibaka. I take back on c5. Bishop takes c3 from Nejmadinov, and I think that one looks like it should be over. The big question is, am I hanging on for dear life against Indiana Fats? That is the real question. My king's getting active against Nejmadinov. Going to try and eat some pawns. Oh, and I have a pass e-pawn too, which I've forgotten about. That might prove handy also. Okay, king f7 from ears. And I'm going to try and improve my position. I'm going to go bishop a3, and then at some point soon, make a pass d-pawn and see if we could win this game. Ears really has no activity, no pawn breaks, so he just has to wait to see if I know what I'm doing. And I think I do, but, well, you know how it is. Okay, now let's see what's going on here against Nejmadinov. I'm just going to box his king out. Why give any chances at all? Okay, knight a7 from Nibaka. Threatening to take the pawn back. I got a couple of ways to do this. I think I'm just going to go pawn to b4 on him. And see if I can make some business with the passed pawns on the other side. And his counterplay, I don't know if his counterplay is g5, then I don't think I have to worry about that a whole lot. Okay, b6 from Nejmadinov. I'm going to push my passed pawn. Bishop c3 from Indiana Fats. And now at this point, I'm just trying to figure out ways to bother him. Okay, I'm going to try bishop to f2. And see, I'm still have some hopes here that somehow that b pawn could bother him at least a little bit. And he's gone behind it. Now I'm going to try to tie him up. Question is his knight, where's his knight coming to bother me? All right, I'm going to go bishop to e3. I'm going to try and get my king into this mess here. Maybe I can get my king to e2 if I'm lucky. What's the bishop opposite color type of position? Probably not very good for me. All right, king f4 against Nejmadinov. So I think this one's over. d5 from Indiana Fats. So trying to push my bishop off. And also his knight will get back into the game. I'm going to try king to f2. Pawn to e5 against Nejmadinov. And I think I can really bother him. Okay, now let's see. Where should my bishop go against Indiana Fats? I'm going to throw it all the way down to h6. Rook to d1 against Nejmadinov. Rook to d6, followed by cleaning up his pawns. Looks pretty nice. Let's see. Ears is offering a knight trade on d5. I shall take that knight trade. Ears has recaptured with the pawn. And let's see now what's the best way for me to make a pass pawn here. I'm going to go king to d2 first, maybe so just in case his rook gets in there. Nibaka, I'm getting him into nice time pressure. He's got a minute left. G5 from Nejmadinov. I go king e4. I'm not. King takes g5 would have won, but I kind of like my pass pawn. Here comes Indiana Fatz's knight, and do I have any hope here of blockading? Is the question. All right, I'm going to try king to f2. Now I know that the rook ending is going to be lost for me. So, well, pawn ending, I should say. Okay, Ears is going g6. And I'm going to go f3. Trying to make pass pawn. Nejmadinov, I'll get rook to d6 check in. Okay, knight f8 from Nibaka, and I'm going to keep my bishop. I'm going to go bishop all the way back to f1, and I have a 3 to... I've got a 3 to 2, 1 pawn majority over there, and then I'm going to try to push on him and see if we can make some queens. F5 from Ears, and Ears is trying to keep me from making a pass pawn. And let's see, for me to make the pass pawn, I'm going to have to guard my pawn, so I'm going to go bishop to b2, and then I'm going to see if I could get on with that. All right, Nibaka, knight h7, he's going to try to go g5. I'm going to start pushing my pawns. Nejmadinov, king f7, I'm going to take on b6. And my king is near Nejmadinov's pawn, so I don't see that they're going to bother me too much. Let's see, F5 from Indiana Fats. And somebody's calling. Hold on. It's calling. Okay. Now, so how do I want to do this with this Indiana Fats? I'm trying to figure this out. He's gone F5. His king is trying to come up. King and pawn ending does not feel like it's right for me. But I have some hope if I get my king up to D3 of annoying him a little bit. So, but let me see. Do I want to go bishop F4 first, or can I wait? Can I wait and maybe get... Okay, I'm going to try bishop to D3 here. See if I can get my king up. Okay, now, Nibaka's gone G5, and I'm going to try C6. So I'm getting my pawns going. Ears is trying hard to stop me from going E4. I'm going to try to pin that D5 pawn and tie him up a little bit. Pawn takes pawn from Nejmadinov. King F7 from Indiana Fats. Okay, now I know that this king and pawn ending for me is pretty hopeless, so I can't get involved in that. So I'm going to go king to E2, and we'll see what's going on there. B6, I seem to have won a piece on Nibaka. His knight is trapped. So let's see if he can drum anything up from that trapped knight. I don't know. Maybe he's got some center going, but piece is a piece. And also, it's nice to have him in time pressure. Nejmadinov has gone H3. I'm going to take another pawn. I can go behind any time. Okay, now let's see. What should I do here against Indiana Fats? Clearly, the king and pawn ending is lost for me. So, how do I bother him here? If I go bishop takes, king D3, and hang around, well, I don't know. I mean, how do I hang around? That pawn is there. That's a tough situation. I think I'm going to try bishop check and see if I could at least discombobulate him. Okay, Nejmadinov has gone G4. I'm going to go king F5 and clean all of his pawns out. Bishop takes. Let's see what Nibaka did. Nibaka has gone Pawn takes f4, and I'm just going to go bishop takes f4. I think his knight is still trapped, and my position looks pretty safe as far as things go. Okay, here comes Indiana Fatz's king. And I'm trying to box his knight out and make it into some kind of king and pawn ending or something. All right, I'm going to go king to d3, and I've got some kind of blockade. Okay, bishop takes, knight against Nibaka. Let me be up a piece there. King e7 from Nezhmadinov. Queen takes g5 from Nibaka. And pawn takes, and give me that piece. And now let's see what Nibaka wants to do here. He's got two connected passed pawns. I'm going to go rook to b3 and start to bottom a little bit, and I have an a pawn that will prove useful. Okay, Nezhmadinov is trying to queen, but I go behind, and that should do it for that. Okay, now, what's the deal here with Indiana Fats? What are the drawing chances here? I feel like my position has gotten a lot better here. Where will his knight want to be is a good question. I don't know. I'm going to try to go bishop to g8 and maybe clean out the side. That's getting a little greedy. If I go bishop takes, knight, and he goes takes, and I take on d2, I'm afraid that I'm getting too passive there, and that might actually be a kind of an easy win for him with his rook coming up. But I mean, I could be wrong. So I'm going to try bishop to g8 and see. Maybe I could take the whole side off if I'm lucky. All right, now let's see what to do against Nibaka. Nibaka is after my pawn. Now I'm going to have two pawns left. I think that I'm going to go rook to... well, I mean, do I want to have a pair of rooks on or not is the question. Also, I don't know. I think I'm just going to go rook to a3 and keep my passed pawn. Why should I give that passed pawn up for any reason? Okay, rook e7, bishop to b3 against ears. And now it's going to get tough for ears because I think I'm getting my pawns going. It took a while, but it looks like e4 is coming next. Yep, and here's e4. But it was a solid game from ears. It was solid. Okay, let me go a5 against Nibaka. Push that pawn up. Get that pawn to a6. Then my rook's free to move, and then we'll see what can we do to him then. Okay, rook to b8 from Nibaka. Bishop c4 looks nice. Threatening takes on f7. E6, sorry. He protected with f7. I'm going to go pawn to a6. He goes rook to b4. I'll offer him a trade of rooks. And now the only question is there some sort of miracle draw in the game against Indiana Fats? That is the only question. Rook c8 from Nibaka, and I will just go rook to b1 and take over open files. Bishop on c4 is doing a good job. Pawn to d3 from Nibaka. Well, do I want this pawn or should I wait? I think I'm just going to take the pawn. And he's coming up, and I think now I got to see what to do. I'm just going to go bishop f1. I'm going to try and surround this pawn. I'm going to go rook to c1, and as long as that pawn on a6 is alive, it's got to be pretty easy job, I would think. Just want to go rook a3, c2, rook a2, surround the pawn, let the pawn on a6 live. Simon's been going not that long. Fast as, like I said, it felt like a fast Simon, and it's a fast Simon. So, okay. Looks like rook a2 is a simple move to make. Just give me that pawn and let my guy on a6 live. And that should be worth the rook, I would think, soon. Okay, let's trade to the pawn, offer a trade of rooks. Trade rooks. King is coming up. I'm just going to go bishop e2 check and make sure nothing happens. And I'm going to go rook to c6 and try and eat everybody. And he goes there, and I'm going to go bishop to c4. And what's happening? I'm just going to take some pawns. King to g6. Very happy to take that pawn and trade rooks. And then I have my a pawn. All right, well, I will take that. And I will take that. I don't really see the point of this. Okay, now, do we get the knight? Now, what's going on here with Indiana Fats? What's he trying to do to me here? I'm trying to eat all of his pawns. With bishop takes h7. Now, this is a real situation. I don't know. Where is his knight going that it's going to bother me? I'm going to try to snatch these pawns here. I'm going to take that one. And Ibaka got mated. And, well, I mean, that was a tough game with a locked position. And I don't know. I feel like white is always better there. I didn't like the bishop takes b1 move. I didn't feel good about bishop takes b1 there. Okay, let's see what Indiana Fats is doing. If I could save this game, I get my first undefeated Simul. It's really something to shoot for. I mean, he's got some checks. Rook check. Okay, rook check. And if I go king up, rook b4 check. All right, I got to go king up. I'm not getting mated yet. So what does he do here? Rook c3 check. I take a knight. So that's got to be happy for me. Rook b4 check. I don't know. Maybe it's a draw. Let me go king back. And now I got to see if he tries to win, how would he do it? If he goes knight c3, just rook takes d2, I guess, right? All right, I'm going back up. Anything tricky here? I don't know. Rook takes. No, I mean, knight c3, is that tricky? I don't know. It feels like I should be able to draw that no problem in a couple of ways. I mean, the simplest way is, okay, can I offer a draw here or not? I sent a draw offer. I'm going to go back king d3. I thought it might have been a 3-time repetition. I didn't really look. Now, what if he's trying to win? What should he do? Rook b3 is the 3rd time, I think. Yes, rook b3 is the 3rd time. I thought king d3 was the 3rd. No, king d3 is the 2nd time. King d3 on move 43 was the pieces were in different places. One time in a tournament game, I did a 3-time repetition with like about 12 moves apart. That happens sometimes. All right, drawn by mutual agreement. Oh, it was a good save on my part. I'm not really sure where he went wrong there. Somehow, I think his pass pawn was better on the C file than the D file. The D file would seem to get blocked, and my king got closer. So I think Indiana Fats had some real chances there. Let's see what's going on here. Ears, yep. Ears, I went E4, and I'm going to go bishop takes D5, but I thought what Ears did there. I thought it was a solid game. I didn't think he should have fixed my pawn structure. Nejmadinov got into a bad opening. Jay Russell was playing a solid game and just got into trouble. He was playing very well. Trivial Pursuit got. I didn't like his openings. That Knight BD7 thing, just not good. Pearl Hacker. That line. Look that line up in the Caro-Can. It's meant to be winning for white. I've taught it to a lot of my students. Spin Dock was a draw. Spin Dock tricked me in the opening. Played very well. Won a pawn. And then I got some compensation with Knight D5, and then a draw was a reasonable result there. I was happy to make a draw. Shamanex, you have to hang on to your pieces better, and the opening wasn't so good. Same for Yuan Lee, 28. Opening was not so good. Pasqualino just didn't pay attention for one move. If he just takes back on D7, he doesn't get back ranked, and it's not an easy game. Probably the position's okay. McQueen 95. I went Knight H6, and Dale went his Queen. Knight A4 against Eternal Warrior. I don't know if he had to resign there, but I suppose C4, Knight C5, take the light squared bishop, take D5, and take C4, and it's quite a bit better for white, but not resigning. Kanishka didn't disconnected somehow and couldn't get back in, and so that was it. Thank you very much. It was a very smooth, fast simul today. No losses for a change. And let's see. I have a stored adjourned game. I don't know what that means. And Simulbot says I finished the simul. No losses. 12 wins and 2 draws. So Nejmadinov, GG, thanks. And he'll have to respectfully disagree with me about the opening. Okay, so thank you, everybody. And I appreciate everybody playing. I hope everybody has a good day. I hope if you're hot, you got some nice air conditioning. And I'll see everybody in July. Take care, everybody. So this is GM John Fedorowicz in very hot New York. I'm going to try to put the air conditioner on. And wishing everybody good chess. I hope the people that play in the United States, the big tournaments coming up, are the World Open. There's a New York International going on, and a lot of tournaments to play in, and a lot of tournaments to watch. So take care, everybody. Thanks for playing in the simul. Keep up the good work on ICC, and I'll see everybody in July. Take care, everybody. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.